Americans could decide the U.S. election. History shows that with a good turnout, their vote can be vital in swing states. Let's get a sense of the mood in African American neighborhoods a month before the vote and how residents feel about President Donald Trump having COVID-19. Joining us live from Delaware in the United States is student Ricardo Jacobs. Ricardo, thank you very much for speaking to us this Sunday afternoon. As a South African living in the U.S., how have you experienced the reaction by African Americans to President Trump's election campaign?
Well, I think there has been mixed feelings because this election is very consequential for African Americans, particularly when it comes to what is at stake for them. So the vast majority, of course, are affected by the fact that he got ill, but it also exposes the vast inequality in terms of how COVID is experienced, particularly African Americans that have been disproportionately affected by the virus. And so it highlights these inequalities and also the type of access that the president could access and the differential nature of the virus. And so, of course, I'm in Delaware, but I'm actually living in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, which is an overwhelming Democratic Party state. And so the stakes are not as high in terms of election.
So some people say that choosing between Trump and choosing between Biden is choosing the better of two evils. How do African Americans that you've interacted with feel about Joe Biden?
Well, to put it this way, for African Americans, the elections the stakes are much higher because a vast majority would support Biden, but the vast majority are also calling for fundamental change in terms of inequality, policing, and a host of social and economic issues. And so that is the fundamental issue for the vast majority of African Americans that I interact with. How are the inequalities going to be resolved? And also the impact of COVID-19 in terms of unemployment, access to health. And as I've said, like as if the virus itself is also very differentiated in terms of who it impacts. And so when people see that the president is recovering, you ask yourself the question, but why are the vast majority of African Americans and poor people dying from this virus in particular? So this is the stakes for people. Of course, the majority of African Americans in Maryland would vote for Joe Biden.
What's been the reaction to Trump having contracted COVID-19?
Of course, people were shocked, and I guess no one wants anyone to be affected. But what people are hoping is that there would be a shift in how the virus has been treated, and not that it is a serious threat out there, and that the government should take it serious. And so this has been one of the responses of people to say, yes, this virus has been affecting us in multiple ways, and I hope there would be a change of approach by the president and the administration in general.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Ricardo Jacobs joining us live from Delaware in the USA.